Okay, so we are live tonight with Anita, ketogenic woman. If any of you have been following the channel for any length of time, you've probably met Anita already. She's been on the channel many times, or at least twice before, I think it was Anita.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely
so,
twice.
yeah.
Pretty sure.
So welcome back for another live stream. I do appreciate
Thank you.
you joining us again. We do have a topic to talk about tonight. I know
Yeah.
last time you were here, we sort of discussed the what the lion diet was. I believe that's what our
Okay.
our chat was about last time.
Yes.
And now
Yes.
tonight we're
That
going to
was
dive.
a year ago, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. So tonight we're going to dive into the sardine world, I guess, as far as the benefits, and then some other aspects of that you've you know built up in your with your channels, supporters and community and all that. So I guess there's lots of people here in the chat already, and we will get to comments and everything. If you do have questions, please, uh, you can ask them anytime. Just put question or QQQ or question mark, and then I'll try and keep them aside so that we can get to them sort of after we do our little discussion to begin with, and then we'll definitely, as we're going, I'll highlight some people that are here as well. So I guess Anita, for anyone that is new to the channel here, we just so everyone knows, we're broadcasting on my channel here at Just Jason
Mhm.
Keto and on Anita's channel. So if there's comments that are coming through that you don't see, it's probably from people on the other channel. So just be aware of that. You're not going crazy. It's just we're multi broadcasting here. So I guess if we just start, Anita, if you can sort of introduce yourself, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. So like just sort of tell my story. Why am
Yeah,
I here?
yeah,
That kind of thing.
yeah.
Um, oh,
Basically,
okay. All right. I have a little bit of a sardine story that's
okay.
part of my story. So, but basically, my story is at one point I weighed over 320 pounds and was very sick. Like just had joint pain. Couldn't walk to the mailbox down the street barely. That kind of thing. Kind of miserable life,
Mm,
and tried so many different things. And when I was in my 50s, I'm going to be 68 in a couple of weeks. But when I was in my 50s, I just decided enough was enough. And I looked back at all the different diets I had tried, because there probably was 100 of them. And I thought, the one that worked the best was Atkins, Dr. Atkins. It was low carb, what we now call ketogenic. Back then, he was just a low carb. He referred to it as a low carb diet, but I think it was fairly ketogenic because he did talk about measuring your ketones and with those little sticks and things like that.
mhm.
So I started to do that again about 15 years ago, and it's just been a journey. It's just been a long journey. I did eventually start hearing about keto. I did have lots of setbacks where I would, lose a certain amount, have some regained weight, and then just. I think the secret was just to keep going. That's really what the secret is just not to give up, even if you have a setback. Just keep going. Somewhere about 3 or 4 years ago, I saw Dr. Boz talking about sardines and how we needed to eat more sardines and all the benefits of them. And she was introducing a 3-day sardine challenge. And at the time, I was on a waiting list to get my knee replaced because I've had lots of troubles with one of my knees. And so I thought, okay, because she talked about how it can help with joint pain and that kind of thing, the omega threes. And so I thought, okay, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it, and I did it. I didn't think I could eat nothing but sardines for 3 days. Not only did I do that, I kept doing it. Every couple of months I would do it, and also I introduced sardines into my regular rotation. Like I would have my meal and a can of sardines. I would try to have sardines a few days a week, and eventually, my pain got to the point in my knee where I just realized I don't really have any. It's very rare, and so when they called me that I was getting closer to the top of the surgery list, I said, I'm gonna hold off. Let's just take my name off for now. And they said, no problem. Call us if you need to talk about it again. And I probably will have to. I mean, the arthritis doesn't go away. It's I have bone on bone arthritis, and at some point, I probably will have to get that knee replaced. But when I stay on top of it and eat my sardines and just not have the inflammatory foods, it feels pretty good. Right now, I am going through a little bit of a bad spell with my knee because I fell I fell on some ice and had if I didn't re-injure this thing all the time, because that's the second time I've done that, where I have taken a bad fall and re-injured it, I would be okay. But darn it, anyways, these things happen, and so I don't know what the future will hold, but I do know that I've had other people tell me the same thing, that wow, my joint pain feels really good. At my last blood test, I had my inflammation, the CRP score was 0.5, and that is apparently really good. It means I have pretty much no inflammation in my body. So I really believe in them I believe in sardines for so many reasons, and I think for people who do keto or carnivore, I believe that they are a superfood. I really do. I think, and I've got some materials here and things like that we can look at and go over. But yeah, I have a long list of benefits here of why I like them. But yeah, that's my story in a nutshell.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's definitely really interesting that it could help that much with something like arthritis and all that. And I guess the one thing, you know, we all or everyone has to get over is like trying to weigh the benefits and whether or not, you can get over or get past the actual idea of eating sardines, which I think
Right,
seems
right.
seems to be the big thing. So
Yeah, there's a few objections that people have, and
sure.
yeah, I managed to get over them and past
Yeah,
them.
for sure. Just to let everyone know, you might see that we do have a giveaway tonight.
Oh
So
yes,
if you type sardines in the chat, Anita has
there it is.
graciously offered to give away her sardine challenge handbook
Yeah.
uh, tonight. So, like I say, you just have to type it once in the chat, and you'll be entered um, for that giveaway at the end of the live stream. So, I just wanted to mention that as we go. Hopefully, everything's. I've been having some trouble lately with StreamYard not keeping up with the chat, so I may be falling behind a little bit over here. I'm just trying to keep an eye on both sides, but yeah. So it sounds like it's definitely something that if you can, like I say, if you can get past the I guess the psychological part of eating
Hmm.
sardines or even smaller, like any smaller fish like
Hmm.
mackerel and stuff
Hmm.
like that can be way like really beneficial for anybody. Obviously
Yes,
it's good for a ketogenic diet or carnivore or anything like that,
yes,
but
they are very ketogenic. Those little fish.
for sure. So you do have some resources.
Yeah.
Which one should we take a look at first? Like we can look at, or that's the challenge. So if
Yeah.
we
Do
look,
you have the one that looks like this?
Yep. Yep. Let me share that one
Yeah,
here.
let's go over the benefits first, because a lot of people may not realize how many benefits there are.
Okay.
They that one there, so that one there is a little bit cut off. There's more at the bottom.
Yeah.
So I'll
Yeah.
just sort of go through what they have. So oh, I see. You can
Yeah.
scroll. Okay.
Sure.
So sardines are high in omega 3s. They have vitamin D3, vitamin E, calcium, selenium, CoQ10. That's the one that's really good for your heart. Iodine, magnesium, zinc. They come in little cans that are portable, easy to open, have that little pop lid, so they travel well. When my son and we drove together to Texas 3 years ago, I was going to KetoCon and he wanted to come along with me for the road trip. So we spent 2 weeks on the road, and I brought so many sardines with me, and that was our road stops. He did not eat them, but I ate them. But yeah, I would sit at a picnic table at the side of the road and just eat my sardines. So it really took a lot of stress off of having to worry about finding meals.
Hmm.
They are a better source of calcium than having dairy. And it's because the sardines usually have the little bones in there, which you actually cannot. I don't taste them or feel them. They don't. I just eat the whole sardines. They do help keep meals more satisfying and well rounded. No other food can give you better bone health than sardines. They support a variety of systems in the body. Um, so the biggest thing is the omega 3s. The omega 3s are the ones that fight the inflammation. It decreases liver fat, improves your heart health, reduces weight, supports mental health, prevents asthma, prevents dementia, and promotes bone health. So it's a lot of nutrition packed into that tiny little fish. One other thing I want to mention is that we talk a lot about sardines, but there's actually 5 fish that kind of fall into the same category. So if somebody absolutely, could not face a sardine, uh, we use the acronym SMASH, and SMASH stands for sardine, mackerel, A is anchovies. The other S is salmon, which I love salmon, and the last one is herring. All of those are kind of a fatty, oily fish that contains the right kinds of fats. They contain those EPAs. They contain those fats that are good for your brain as well as your heart, and promote longevity, which of course at my age I'm interested in as well. So um, yeah, those are the benefits of what I call a magical little fish.
Right. Yeah, and I guess it's one of those things too. I think a lot of people always are wondering, and I'll just put it right out there before we
Hmm.
get what people are wondering is that because when you go to the grocery store, there's not just sardines. You've got the sardines in water, you've got sardines in
Yes.
olive oil, you've got sardines in tomato paste, you've got
Yep.
sardines. Unfortunately, a lot, and I would say more of them than not, are packed in really less than ideal oils.
Exactly. The seed oil, the dreaded seed oils.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And I can imagine like a small fish living in a tin submerged in what could be, very rancid oil
Yeah.
right out of the tin is not going to be. So what do you suggest for people to look for ideally kind of
Yeah,
thing?
so definitely avoid the ones that are packed in things like soy oil and sunflower oil, those ones there. I would get it. Now, I get extra virgin olive oil sardines, but I trust the brand that I get. There are many brands, and they come from many countries and at various price points. If you don't trust olive oil in a can, just get the ones with water. There's lots of varieties that are packed in spring water, and then you can add your own oil to it or mayonnaise without the bad oils. Like if you say you make your own mayonnaise or you have a good one, like Chosen Foods. You can add, some people add MCT oil or even butter. I've seen people add butter or cook them in butter in a cast iron pan. I mean, yeah, you can just focus on the ones in water and add your own fats to it and go that route.
Right.
It doesn't have to be. You definitely want to avoid those questionable oils for sure,
Sure.
because they are inflammatory, and the whole idea of doing this is for anti-inflammatory purposes.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I can't imagine that, the unfortunately, yes, you would sort of erase all of the benefits that you're getting from the sardines with the inflammatory oils that
Exactly.
they're packed in for sure.
Yeah.
Um, just trying, like I said, I'm just trying to think of the questions that I would have and have had in the past. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know,
Shoot,
obviously,
shoot him at me because
the other part of sort of what we were going to talk about tonight and about your book is the idea of what the sardine challenge is, kind of thing.
yes. Yep.
Which is sort of and having listened to you talk about it a number of times, it seems like a type of reset
It,
fast kind of thing that can
it
help you.
yeah,
It's not a long-term thing, but it's a short-term reset that can help you sort of figure things out with what's going on, I guess.
definitely. So, it's called a metabolic reset, and there's different ways. I mean, a water fast is a metabolic reset. It kind of resets your system, boosts your ketones, lowers your blood glucose. I mean, a lot of people who try these things are insulin resistant, and so the idea is that we're trying to get your body to understand, that we're trying to change things here. And sardines are a really good metabolic reset because they mimic fasting, except for you get to eat something. And they have that perfect ratio of fat to protein. And because it's such a good fat, those omega-3 fatty acids, the fat that's right in the fish naturally, uh, is very high quality. And so that's why it makes such a good reset. And a lot of people who have never been able to wake up, I'm talking about people with type 2 diabetes or they're insulin resistant. They can't wake up in the morning with their blood glucose less than 100. And we really want your morning blood glucose to be less than 100. But when they eat sardines for 3 days, lo and behold, there it is. And so that just gets people thinking, okay, it is possible for me to wake up in the morning with low blood glucose or lower than what I've been having. And so the hope is that they will keep adding, more foods like that into their rotation and just carry on down that road to better health. I mean,
Sure.
that's really the idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Just again, my StreamYard is acting up again tonight, so I just got about 1,000 comments come through all at once. I'm just trying to
Oh, wonderful.
stay on top of the questions here. Like I said at the beginning, we will definitely get to the questions. I'm putting them aside for so that we can answer those. So I guess that can sort of lead us into the other part, which is the sardine. What this actually is the challenge. Like we have a sort of
Yeah, that's my cheat sheet that I came up with. It basically emulates the way Dr. Boz had, when she laid out her sardine challenge. I did it the way she. I've seen people throw in all kinds of variations. You can have this and you can have that, but this is kind of modeled after hers, because I trust her judgment.
right.
And so it's just little tips and tricks, on how to get through those 3 days. And I think on there I include even a little sauce recipe to pour over these sardines so that they taste better. And I have some of my little tips and tricks there.
Sure.
Basically, you're going to start your count at this is it's called a 72-hour challenge, and so your 72 hours starts with sardine can number one, and in your 70, at hour 72, the challenge is over when you eat your last can of sardines. And however many you want to eat in between, it's up to you. I've heard of people who ate can one and can two. They ate can two at the end of the 72 hours, and they just fasted in between. Because some people just don't like sardines, but some people will eat 1 or 2 cans a day, and then you have someone like Kelly Hogan who goes, "Oh no, I eat 6 or 8 cans in a day," and it can be whatever number you need to get through the day.
Sure.
That's basically it.
Okay, yeah, and just to let everyone know, these handouts are linked down below in my description and in Anita's description in her live
Yes.
chat. So if you want to see these for yourself, they are linked down below already. So yeah, it definitely sounds like and I think a lot of different fast protocols or fasting protocols. I think one of the things that it does is it sort of gets rid of all the noise as far as, well, what am I going to do for these 72 hours? And a
Yeah.
lot of people are like, well, I can't just not eat for 72 hours.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I've done 48, 72 is just, I don't like the way I feel, so I don't do it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
to
Fair
have, to
enough.
have, yeah, have something that, because then you're getting the energy from the fats and,
Yeah.
you're still getting the nutrients that you need. So,
Exactly. You're getting good quality nutrients. I've had trouble water fasting myself in the past, and recently I did. In the last year or so, I've readdressed that and kind of got my headspace around the benefits of it, but I still prefer sardine fasting to water fasting for the very reason you just said. I don't feel like I'm starving. I don't feel like I'm going to lose my what muscles I have, and I feel like I'm getting enough protein to maintain muscle mass, and I'm getting enough fats to maintain energy. Because that is, when we do keto, the fat is where we get our energy from.
mhm.
And so it's important that we keep that up as well. And so I always feel quite good when I'm doing this particular type of a reset. Um, I
Sure.
one thing I have here too, and maybe this would be interesting, would be to list I have a list of signs of omega-3 deficiency. Should I
Yeah.
Maybe I could read. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to read those out because some people might not know that they could use more omega-3. Brittle nails, dry
Mhm.
skin, difficulty sleeping, fatigue, attention and concentration problems, joint pain, mood-related signs like irritability, dull hair. And it's interesting because I've got 4 kids and they're all adults now, but when they were growing up, 2 of the 4 of them had ADD or ADHD, and at the time, of course, I didn't know anything about omega-3s and fatty acids and things like that. And when I read about these things now, it seems like getting these fish oils are one of the number one, things that you do when your kids have that kind of issue. Is if only they would eat sardines, it would probably go a long way to help them. And
Mhm.
it's just these things that I didn't know back then as a young mom.
Yeah, yeah, I hear it for sure. Yeah, and it's amazing those things we learn.
Hmm.
unfortunately, half the time we wind up learning these things too late, obviously. But
Yes,
you know,
yes,
I myself, I wish I had learned what I learned over the last 6 years, 16 years ago. But you
yeah.
know, it's
I hear you. I hear you on that. I mean, but it's never too late. That's the
Mhm.
thing to keep in mind for yourself. It's never too late. I mean, I'm 68. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I feel really good. I don't take any medications, like zero medications,
Hmm.
and I really want to keep it that. I want to keep it that way for as long as I possibly can.
Hmm.
And I think when you look to nutrition, like good nutrition, it can help you do that. I really believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, we did have a couple of questions come
Okay.
through. One's from Elizabeth Jones. Can sardines and other fatty fish help lower cholesterol? My numbers are suddenly very high. Not sure if it's a lean mass hyperresponder. But
I don't really know, but I can tell you that I just got I do get blood work done every year. And the first year that I went, I've been carnivore now for almost 4 years basically. And the first year when I had my blood work done, my cholesterol was, I don't know, about 350 or something like that. Last year it dropped quite a bit when I had it done, and this year it's down to 237.
mm,
So my cholesterol has been coming down, and I don't know if that's because of the sardines, but basically all I eat is meat and sardines and salmon. I like salmon too, and I have been, I have introduced other seafood as a result of all this. At first, I was only having sardines as my seafood, but now I'm trying to have a variety of seafoods just to make it more interesting. But I do eat a lot of seafood, and that could be why. But it's something that you have to try yourself, and I'm not a doctor or a nutritionist. All I can do is share my experience. And my doctor never said anything about my cholesterol being high because my triglycerides were so darn low. My HDL was high, which is a good thing. All my other markers were optimal. And so she was like, okay, well, nothing to see here, I guess, and carried on. But in the meantime, it's been improving. So I don't know if
yeah,
that gives anybody hope.
sure. Yeah. The other question was from Kendra. Would sardine fast be comparable to a butter fast? I saw that
Um,
a couple of people were talking about
okay.
this in the chat, but if you what your thoughts were on
Yeah.
that.
I mean, they're both a form of metabolic reset. Butter fast would obviously be in that category of fat fast. There are fat fasts out there. The thing with the sardine fast that I particularly like is that you're also getting protein.
Hmm.
Now, if you do a butter fast, as long as you don't do it for a prolonged period, I mean, it's perfect safe to do for a couple days. 3 days would be the mat. I have done it. I can't get past one day. I mean, I do one day, and the next day I'm just raring for some actual food. So I've never done one for longer than a day. Um, but sardine fast, you could do it for a number of days. And in fact, there's a woman out there who did it for 100 days. And her blood work was amazing at the end. And she's getting protein during all that time, and she's getting that good ratio fat to protein. So it is so a butter fast is okay, and I've done fat fasts before, but keep it 3 days max, I would say. But sardines, you could do them indefinitely, and just like butter, we can add butter to our regular rotation. You can also add sardines in.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think that like you say, they ideally the 72-hour sort of window to do this would, at least the way I look at it, would definitely be sort of an optimal amount of time, as
Yep.
long as, again, as long as you're still making sure you're not, starving yourself. And,
Yes.
again, I've probably voiced my opinion about fasting more times than a lot of people want to hear about it, because I do unfortunately feel like some people take it to the extremes, and it does it,
That
it's,
happens
yeah,
definitely.
it's not, it's one of those things where I feel personally that it can turn into more of a, people do more of it than they really need to.
Yeah.
They wind up hurting themselves more than they help. But so I think the whole 72 hours of metabolic reset with sardines is perfect,
Yeah. Yeah.
because again, you're still getting your protein, which, unfortunately most of us don't get enough protein as it is, but you're still getting your protein and your fats,
Yes.
and
Yes.
you're not making yourself miserable by not eating anything for 3 days. Where,
That's right.
some people really enjoy that. Some
Yeah.
people
Well,
just,
I think we should talk about who shouldn't do this, who shouldn't fast, whether it's sardine fasting or water fasting.
Mhm.
If anybody who chronically undereats on a regular basis shouldn't do this, like if they're following, low calorie type diet, or maybe they're keto, but they're like, 1,100 calories a day, that kind of thing. They're kind of under eating to begin with. This
right.
isn't for that person. It isn't for somebody who has past history of eating disorders,
Hmm.
because it can trigger those sorts of things again. And it isn't possibly for people who have had past eating, binging, restrictive eating and then binging disorders. Now, I'm one of those people. However, I've worked on myself for 15 years now, and now I can get through these fasts, and not feel like I need to do a celebration meal at the end. You know how I break my sardine fast? With a can of sardines.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't break it with, oh, I'm gonna have ice cream and all this other stuff. That's how I do it. That took a lot of work over the years to get to that place, and I'm happy to be there, but not everybody is there yet. The other
Hmm.
thing to watch out for is histamine reactions, because you're eating 3 days. If you do this for 3 days, you're eating out of cans basically, unless you have a source for fresh sardines. And people with histamine issues should not, they need to eat just fresh foods. They can't eat not just sardines, but canned anything, long cooked anything.
Hmm.
So that's another case where that wouldn't work. And of course, allergies. If you're allergic, that's not for you either. Then.
Absolutely. So yeah, those are some good, uh, like you say, it's not for everyone.
Right.
And any kind of fasting, I don't think is, and I've always been of the thought that fasting, like if you're trying to change your lifestyle from like just your standard American
Yep.
diet and trying to go more low carb, keto, carnivore, ketovore, whatever it is, I'm always been of the thought that it should be something that just happens. Like I don't necessarily always say, hey, once you get fat adapted, then you need to start fasting.
Yeah, I don't think everybody needs to do that at all. Some people have never fasted,
Right.
it's definitely not a requirement. And there are reasons for doing a fast. I mean, obviously, some people do it for religious reasons. It's part of their culture.
Right.
Others do it for medical reasons, though. I'm thinking of Dr. Boz and her mother, when Dr. Boz took care of her mother in the hospital when she had cancer. They did some fasting to try to change some chemistry in her brain, and they were successful. So there, there's legitimate reasons to do it. Autophagy, people who are seeking to heal long-standing chronic conditions can do some fasting for that, but you don't need to do long fasting for those things, which I don't think a lot of people realize. You can do like a 24-hour fast, you just skip one day, is really good at gut healing, because it's at the 18 to 24-hour mark that your body it gets to that point where you've digested everything, and then it spends a few hours healing gut lining and things like that. So it doesn't have to be, I see people going on these 10, 15-day fasts, and first, I don't know how they do it. I don't know why they do it, but they do it. And I really feel like it may not be, it's probably not necessary for most people to do that.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. That's sort of my fasting about one thing I've always sort of tried to tell people that, because we've all heard, oh, if I don't eat lunch or I don't eat breakfast, then I get hangry throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, well, that's because of, when you're not fat adapted and eating a low carb diet, then your body's craving that energy from carbohydrates, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
The way I love to look at it is, well, I don't get hangry anymore because my body has lots of stored fat that it can live off. For if I miss one or two meals or three meals, even that's the unintentional type of fast, like Dealey saying here, whenever I fast, it's not intentional. It just winds up happening. Now that doesn't mean you can't, every once in a while, like every few weeks, you can say, okay, well, I'm going to do a sardine fast for 3 days or whatever, or I'm going to fast for 24 hours or 48. I just think and I did it to myself in year 2 of keto. I sort of stuck to a 1 meal a day type.
Yes.
And because I like, oh, this, and for the first while, I felt great. It worked great for me. But after a while, I just, it just did not work for me anymore. And I found that after I started incorporating, and I don't do it every day, but now, maybe 3 days a week, I'll eat a big breakfast, right? Like ground beef and eggs and stuff like that. And I feel so much better that way. So
yeah. And absolutely, people should change up their routines too. And I think one of the things I will say though is one of the best fasts a person can do is having your last meal at night, and then evening, whatever, dinner, whatever that is for you. For me, it gets earlier and earlier. I'm like you can tell I'm getting old because I'm one of those people that needs to eat my dinner at 4 or 4:30. But that's it until your first meal the next day. That does so much, and that can be 12, 14, 15 hours between dinner and your first meal the next day. You sleep through most of it, but it does so much for your digestion and your insulin levels, so that if you are at risk for type 2 diabetes, or maybe you already have it or you're pre-diabetic, just doing that goes a long way to solving that problem.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I think I'm just trying to catch up here. There were a couple more questions that came through. Crafty Mom, are there different measures for triglycerides between Canada and the US? If so,
there certainly are. Yes. So I had to do that. Let me just see here. So this is my recent blood tests. I printed them out. So it said my triglycerides were 0.69, and of course that's Canadian. And so I found, I go to Google and find out what is the calculation to change that to be the other, to be US, because most of the people who follow me are from the US. And so if I told them that my triglycerides were 0.69, they'd be going, what? That can't be possible. In fact, if I was in the States, my triglycerides would be 61. So I can't remember what the calculation for that. I think it might have been 50, 57. Where's my calculator? I don't know. But you get the idea. So same with cholesterol. My cholesterol, I said it was 237, but that was my calculated amount for my American friends. It was actually 4 point something, 4 point, yeah, 4 point. I can't find it right now, but yeah, there you have. So it's a simple matter of just Googling the conversion, and it'll tell you how to do that. So, oh, I don't hear you anymore, Jason.
Forgot to unmute myself.
There you go.
So no, it's good information. It's good to know that there is. It's like you're right. Any kind of metabolic measurements, I think, are like even when we're testing glucose here, it's different than usually what measurements are in the U.S. and all that. But obviously, that kind of information is probably fairly ready to be found on Google. So
it's pretty easy to find, and I'm always doing it because I never can remember.
Sure. Yeah. Next question: would you trust Dollar Tree fish? A product of China, both sardines and mackerel are canned in brine.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what is in the brine would be the question that pops up in my head. I like on the other hand, though, I think that we have to eat what we can afford. And I remember when I had a video where I was showing some different types of sardines, and somebody commented on my video and said, I live in my car and I can't even afford, the cheaper ones that you're eating. And I mean, that got me. Like, I mean, how lucky am I that I have a roof over my head and I can buy different sardines. And I went down, that very day, I went down to the dollar store and I bought some sardines and was reading the labels. So they do sell, now that's at the dollar store near me, they do sell sardines in water, and they had salmon and they had various other fish. And so, I was able to come back and answer his comment and tell him, like, go to the dollar store, buy those sardines, buy the salmon, like eat, there was mackerel too. Yeah, they had mackerel. Eat them. These ones in water are perfectly safe to eat. I think, and but yeah, I don't know what would be in the brine. So if you can find some in water, that would be a good bet.
For sure. So this Target Prime Rib is here. He said, "Did Anita catch the shout out Bob said about you?"
I did. I was so, it almost made me cry. At last, I saw that he was back. And so at my live stream on Sunday night, I said, hey, everybody, Butter Bob is back. I was so excited and talked about that for a few minutes. And somehow he found out and mentioned something on his first video his first video update. And yeah, I would love to get him on my channel or something, or talk to him, like, on his whatever. I just admire him so much for coming back too. I really admire him for coming back because, he fell off the wagon, but he's trying again, and you gotta respect that. He knows what to do. That's for sure. So I'm very happy to see him back.
For sure. Yeah, it was definitely, when I first started, I watched all of his videos.
Yes.
And he's just such a relatable guy too. So.
Yes, and he explains things so well in such simple terms, like even someone like me who has not had any medical training can understand it just fine.
For sure. Okay, another question from Crafty Mom. Have you ever bought the frozen sardines or mackerel as found at Freshco in Canada? If so, how do you prepare to remove the heads? Or I personally haven't, but I don't know if you have.
I have bought, no, I don't have a Freshco here, but I found frozen sardines at H Mart here in Victoria, BC, and I made them. Made them twice, and I have a video. You can go on my channel and maybe just type in fresh sardines, and you'll see that video. They had heads, and I did take the heads off, and I showed how to gut them and everything. Now, when I was a teenager, I had a summer job in the fish cannery near where I lived, because I lived near well, I lived in Steveston, BC, which back then had fish canneries, and that's where people worked. And so I was used to gutting fish. It didn't bother me. But I do show on there how to take care of the fish so that you can fry them in your air fryer.
Sure. Yeah, and I think that's another thing too, is trying to find the best way to cook them,
Yes.
that works best for you. If you're like, if you just want to incorporate them 2 or 3 times a week, if you want to, know, cook them up with bacon or whatever, or
Oh,
just
they're yummy with bacon.
mix them up with tuna and
Yeah.
some healthy mayonnaise or
Yeah.
whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's just getting them any way you can is worth it. So
Well, you just made me think of another tip. If you are not a huge fan of sardines, but you're interested in the benefits and you want to get started, try recipes first instead of just digging into the can, opening the can and trying to eat them. Look for some recipes. I have tons of them. There's a playlist in the video notes with all my sardine, salmon, other fish recipes. If you put them in a recipe, sometimes they're quite well hidden, such as my sardine pizza, for example.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good tip if, like you say, because that's what a lot of people get hung up on, is the
Yes,
idea of
yes,
eating them just with a fork out of a can.
exactly.
So I just want to make sure there's a couple of questions I've seen
Mhm.
over on the live chat. One from Brian, asking us what our favorite can of sardines is. It hasn't come through on StreamYard yet, so I can't put it up.
Okay.
Personally, um, I'm not huge into sardines. So like even tonight, I just picked up I went into like the international foods section at the store and found some mackerel fillets that are in olive oil kind of thing.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I give those a try. I prefer like kippers and mackerel and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I don't mind sardines kind of thing, but
Right.
that's kind of where I go with it. So.
Yeah. For my everyday sardines, I buy the ones that are easily accessible to me. We're in my area, and for me, that's cloverleaf sardines and King Oscar. But if I feel like I want a treat because I've been eating them for 3 days and I want a special can, I have the Nuri sardines from Portugal. There's a Matiz, Matiz. I like that brand. They are a little more expensive, but like I said, it's sort of a little treat myself, to a nice, good quality one.
Mhm. Um, Now I finally got some questions come through here. How many sardines do you have to eat a week to get the benefits from them?
Start with one can a week and work up from there. But I would, I mean, I was getting some kind of seafood almost every day, when I was really working on fixing my knee pain. So I was trying to get
Mhm.
seafood on the daily. But not always, salmon and other seafoods as well for that.
Yeah. We had a super chat come through from
Oh,
Carnivore Jerry.
excellent.
Good to see you, Jerry. It's see you live with you all. What a delight to see you interact on the live chat. Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I want to acknowledge Brian. He gifted a membership on both of our channels tonight. So
Oh, oh, I know which Brian you're talking
yeah,
about then.
yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Brian. Nice to see you here.
Thanks for doing that. I'll is it just me, or does others always leave feeling hungry after watching Jason's streams? Well, you know, we try, right? So it's always
If you feel hungry after talking about sardines, yay.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, Crafty Mom, I love kippered. Also like smoked. Yeah, I personally like smoked oysters and stuff like that too. That's one of my
Oh,
favorite seafoods.
one of my favorites is smoked oysters too. That's a real treat.
Yeah, and carnivore. Jerry saying Chris cooking Nashville butter mayo. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would definitely go well
absolutely.
with sardines. And I think Aisha, yeah. So compared to salmon with omega-3.
Yeah, they're both very high. I mean, I would, if I didn't like sardines, I would do a salmon challenge. I would eat salmon for 3 days and have no problem with that. Uh, Excellent. Like you can alternate them. They'd be good. I like this comment that you put up there, White. I agree with it. White anchovies taste closer to tuna than sardines. So
Okay.
if you want a bridge, I think white anchovies are great.
Yeah, that's a good tip. I never thought about white anchovies.
Yeah.
So we're getting close to the hour. So if we do have a giveaway tonight.
Oh,
Anita
yes.
has offered to give away her sardine challenge handbook.
Yeah, it will be sent directly to you from Amazon.
Yeah. So if you want to just type sardines in the chat, and then we'll do the draw uh, in like 2 or 3 minutes, kind of thing, so we can get through that. Just see if there's any other comments here. See Beverly's here as well. It's good to see you, Beverly. Yvonne saying she's got the book sitting right next to me on my desk. That's good. Yeah,
Thanks, Yvonne.
yeah. Luigi is here as well. I saw her come in earlier, so I just
Oh,
wanted to say,
Luigi.
yeah,
Hello.
yeah, yeah. So thanks for everyone being here, and I did want to thank Anita again for joining the live stream. Where every time sort of a different topic comes up, and I'm hoping to have you back once you have another book that's going to be coming out.
I do. I have a major cookbook coming out with an actual publisher rather than, my self-published handbooks. I'm very excited and I'd be happy to come back.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you back to
Mhm.
talk about that and promote that book as well. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I do envy you putting that having the commitment to put stuff like that together. Like I think we were talking the other night. I have so many recipes of my own that I should be putting them in a book, and
Yes.
one of these days I will. But it's
It takes some work for
yeah,
sure.
for sure. So let's see what we have for. See if I can share this tab here. So it looks like we have 51 entries for the giveaway
All
so
right.
far. So what we can do is, as long as there's no last minute entries, we'll click to draw for the book. Patricia resells. Cool.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want them to contact me.
It's up to you. I can give my email if you want. What I have to do is order it from Amazon on their behalf
Okay.
and send it to them.
Um, yeah. So if you want to let everyone or let Patricia know sort of what the email address is for.
Okay, yep. It's Patricia, it's ketogenicwoman@gmail.com. Send your your full contact, name and address and everything, and I'll get that ordered from Amazon for you.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. And thanks again for offering to give
No
that as a
problem.
giveaway tonight. And one thing we didn't talk about is I'll actually I'm going to do a giveaway of my own. We'll sort of do this as a, partial celebration for, thanking everyone. The channel got to 7,000 subscribers a couple of weeks ago, and it's,
Oh,
I
excellent.
I'd like to thank everyone as much as I can, kind of thing, that supports the channel, and you, Anita, as well, because you've helped this channel sort of get to the point where it is. You've helped share stuff out, and allowed me to be part of your uh,
Well, you've
community.
been so helpful over on my live stream, so I'm very grateful. And if anyone is here from my channel, please go and subscribe to Jason as well.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is it's just a little swag pack. So I've got some stickers, and I've got a couple of key tags here. That's just some branded stuff, and then I'll throw in a few of the just your uh, basic sort of wristbands and stuff like that. It's just a bunch of stuff that I've put together for meet and greets and all that. So why don't we draw for that as well and see who we can give that to? Restless Pilgrim.
Restless Pilgrim. I love that name.
Yeah. So if I think they're probably over in your chat. I don't think they were in mine. But if you want to email me at justjasonketo@gmail.com, um, and then let me know what your shipping address is and all that, I'll get that swag pack out to you as well. And then, anyone else that wants to sort of reach out to me about that kind of stuff too, it's just freebie stuff that I give away whenever I can. So, and
Great.
we'll probably do a bigger giveaway, in a little while for sort of reaching that milestone with the channel. So I just
Nice.
wanted to throw that in too. So yeah, congratulations to the winners. Very exciting. Yeah, we're just about at our hour.
Hmm.
So I don't know if you have any sort of final comments or.
I just thank you for inviting me. I'm always happy to spread the good word about sardines and other fatty fish. And yeah, I appreciate that you invited me here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like I say, I've always enjoyed chatting about this stuff with you because I don't do too many interview type live streams, but
Hmm.
I always like to bring information that I learned from you over your community to the people over here. And I think it's great now with the way StreamYard can set up that we can
Yeah,
do this on both channels, right? So
yeah,
then
yeah,
we can reach even more people. So, which is
exactly.
my goal with this channel is just to reach as many people as we can, basically.
Yes, yes.
So, okay, well, I think that's
All
it
right.
for tonight. If you want to hold on for a few minutes or a couple seconds,
You
Anita,
bet.
we
Yep.
can chat afterwards. But thanks for being here tonight, everyone. I have a new video coming out at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. It'll be premiering on the channel, new chaffle recipe video, and then we'll be back at another live stream next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. So till then, have a great night, everyone, and keep on thriving.
Good night, everybody.